Do. Yep. Okay.
Anywhere, long as the runway is clear. Musically, this moving too fast. Wishing I still had that. When you get slow, I can get telling, slow it down. When you're living just as fast as I'm taking my stand. When they say you stretch like coke on the pavement. Catch TKOs on occasion. Wishing I could save her. What was I to say? I was doing things, living in and out of state. He was living in the get away. Sick of feeling so out of place. Wishing I could save it. Always out of say. Wishing I could save it, but now it's too late. Now this is really hard on me. Is it really worth the pain? I really what you say?
Go, Rubs!
We have our first corner of the game here for those folks. We will see how they line up. They have
back quickly within this contest. Trying to win the possession battle early. And excellent pressure so far by the Rooks. Now the Firebirds looking to push forward.
Yeah, we've started fast here for the Rooks, and it looks like there is another turnover by the Firebirds here. You know, once again, first key to the game, midfield possession, and then will they be able to put the ball in the back of the net as there's another shot that just goes wide.
At this rate, it seems as might be the Rooks' night early on, at least in the first half. From a Firebirds perspective, however, and what. From the Firebirds' perspective, it'll be interesting to see how they bounce back. Back heel to no avail. Goes back into possession for the Rooks.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really crucial right now for the Firebirds to settle down. Right now, they're shakier than a Jenga tower in an earthquake, and this could get out of hand really early if things don't, get together for them. I mean, they seem like a pretty good outfit. They are the middle of the table right now, so I would like to see. what I really like to see is just them settle down. They look like they're really nervy right now. It seems like the Lady Rooks are doing everything that they want to do. Another shot on target right there. This is gonna be an interesting night, especially after the first 15 minutes. If the Lady Rooks put a couple in the net early, it's gonna be a game of focus for them. And
Looks to be rolling out of play. Throwing for the Rooks. And early on, it looks like the Rooks seem to have the advantage out wide. We've seen a lot of attacks coming from the outside flank, namely the left flank.
so I'm not sure if the Ladybirds exactly know what to do with the 5 that the Rooks have put in the midfield right now. As you said, they have 2 holding midfielders there that are really establishing control of the game. And those 2 wide players really just have the run of, basically wherever they want to go. They don't have to get too far central because those 2 holding midfield players are really establishing their dominance in the middle. So, you're right. The 2 wide players that we have here for the Rooks are really taking control of this game early as we get another corner coming in from the far side of your screen.
Mind you, the last goal for the Rooks did come off of a corner, second attempt. Great clearance there by the Firebirds. Rooks maintaining possession for now. Shot on net, just misses. Rooks have been getting a lot of quality looks so far early on in this contest.
Yeah, this has the intensity of a high-speed car chase from the Rooks. So I'm really interested to see how much they can keep up and how much they really get out of these first couple of minutes. The pressure has to come down. It's just really hard to play at this level for 90 minutes. So, the question now, I think, for the Rooks is how many goals are they going to get with this dominance?
And it looks like the first quality attack started to begin for the Firebirds, halted by a foul. Free kick awarded to Lombard.
Well, I think that's a really heady play from one of the defensive midfielders right there. I'm not sure which one, but she was obviously beat on there, on that play right there. And instead of just letting them have a free run on goal, she took the foul, didn't get a yellow for it. Nobody's going to remember that. So heads up play there, and as the Rooks look to attack again, we're looking at a really good game that's going to unfold right now.
Wind blowing in from the north. Seeing the flags waving, fairly decently so far. Not as windy as it was prior to the game, but could play a significant role in tonight's game. One thing that I have noticed, however, as we talking about the wide play, it seems like the fullbacks have a lot of license to overlap so far, and they're taking advantage of it and having nothing but clear pitch, or turf rather, to operate and orchestrate the attack.
Well, I'm not sure if the Rooks have a full-on athletic advantage over the Firebirds, but they definitely have a speed advantage on the wings, and that's really going to help throughout the course of the game when you talk about just being able to overlap and getting to those positions of danger to get the ball into the box. As we've seen a couple of times, the Rooks do a really good job of getting the ball center and then getting the ball out to one side, and then really pushing their pace that way as they force another turnover right here in the corner.
They seem to be always right in the right place, right time for these turnovers as well, and very tactically sound. A couple touches really, and automatically the Rooks look to be on attack, and looks to be the case here.
Yeah, they just look really comfortable right now. They're a really well-oiled machine right now. They are really doing well, starting to play from the back, recycling the ball if it doesn't look like anything's on. This is a really tough setup to play against if you're having to chase the game this long. I really wonder how long before this Firebird press starts to calm down a little bit. It seems like the Firebirds are trying to press the ball a little bit high as we see.
Gorgeous through ball.
Yeah, the Firebirds really with their first attack of the night, it looks like.
Out of play, throw in. Yes, it will be
Yes.
a throw in for the Firebirds.
That
now.
is a Firebird throw. As we see them attack right now, it's really going to be interesting to see like how high they just keep that press going before they start to drop off, because that could be dangerous for them. That's like playing a game of chicken when you have a team that likes to possess the ball and move around. If you drop off and give them the space, the way Germany destroyed Scotland, like at the start of the Euros yesterday.
Exactly.
You know, you give people in the midfield, you know, time to work, and they'll kill you every time.
One thing that I feel like has been very noticeable so far with the holding too, they've the ability for them to drop back, as we saw in that very first attacking sequence we saw for the Firebirds. Oh, and here we go.
That was lazy. That might be. Well, this is actually a good time to bring up the third key to the game.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
If the Rooks are going to have this much possession, one of the things they're going to have to do is fight getting complacent and fight getting lazy. That was a back heel in their own third, 30 yards away from the goal. That is not advised at any level. So, you know, they got to be careful. You know, they don't want to take this for granted. They're still going to have to, score a couple goals or two. Because even at 1-0, this is a dangerous game for them.
We've seen plenty of times from both sides, from both the women's side and the men's side, that leads are not safe here. Whether the lead is having to be protected from the Rooks or oftentimes from the opposing side. It's good to see, however, that it is the Rooks having the front foot so far. But as you mentioned early, and complacency is a major thing. Here with that holding two and the ability for that back four to almost turn into a back six with the two holding back. Do you think there's a little bit of opportunity there for the Firebirds to attack somewhere just outside the box? Maybe take a couple of chances from outside of the box even.
Only if they can really gain a bit of possession in the game. They're going to have to push the point of attack on their end as we see the ball get turned over in the midfield again. They're going to have to push the point of attack up a little farther away from their goal. Right now, most of this game is being played in the Firebirds half.
Agreed.
And if the game keeps going like this, if the Rooks are able to sit with their four comfortably and that holding two, it's going to be really difficult on transition for the Firebirds to create anything. They're probably in transition as another shot comes in. In transition, they're probably only going to be attacking with 3, maybe 4 at most. And 4 on 6 is, those just aren't good math numbers, Like we learned in 3rd grade, 6 is greater than 4, every day. So this is good. This is good. I like to see that from the Firebirds, even though it didn't come to anything. Just attempting to play out of the back, kind of setting that line of attack, trying to take a little possession away from the Rooks. This is what they're going to have to do. Oh, and that is a penalty. That is a penalty. We're just waiting for the ref to point to the spot right now, but
There is no confirmation yet. We do anticipate it being a penalty, and yes, indeed, it will be a penalty awarded for the Rooks.
Let's see who is stepping up to take this. Let me see if I can get a good view of this number. Number 9. Who is our number 9?
I believe this will be Chris Booth, who will be stepping up to the spot to put the Rooks up 2-0 early in this first half.
Let's hope this is no nonsense. This keeper doesn't look like she's, world class. So, a pretty good, just back of the net. There we go.
And easy to the right side of the net, and the Rooks take a 2-0 lead. Chris Booth puts the Rooks up, doubles the scoring for them, and then the Rooks in the driver's seat early.
I don't know who's faster, Usain Bolt or the Rooks starting this game. I mean, we are less than 15 minutes into the game, and the Rooks have a steady 2-0 lead. They say in soccer that 2-0 is the most dangerous lead that you can have, but I think if the Rooks can just kind of keep this pressure up, it could be safe for them. But let's just see how they go. As here's another turnover.
Oh, gorgeous back heel shot on goal. to no avail, but it just looks like the Rooks are just having their way. You mentioned possession is a big thing, and the Rooks controlling possession. I think they've done that on both their end and even controlling the opposition's possession as well so far. The ball has practically lived on the Firebirds' half of the field, as you mentioned.
Well, the Firebirds just string together about 3 passes for, a wayward pass went out. So, they're attempting to play it out of the back, which is a good sign from, their half. They need to settle this down. Somebody in the field just, needs to take a little bit of command, pull everyone back, say, hey, let's string a few passes together, try to blunt this attack because, if they continue to just carelessly turn the ball over this way, then it's going to be a long night. I think they have more turnovers than passes completed right now, which is not a good stat if you're, reading the stat sheet.
Interesting to note the defensive line that the Rooks are playing. It is an incredibly high defensive line, and we've noticed that a few times when the Firebirds do maintain possession, almost suffocating defensive pressure.
Yeah, well, there's nothing up top for the Firebirds to really aim at. It looks like the defense isn't really scared of the Firebird attack as they, pull into transition right now. They don't really get numbers forward in, any meaningful way that allows them to kind of push that line of attack forward again. They attacked with maybe 3 or 4 right there, and the ball rolled right to the keeper. So, now here we go back into the Firebirds half. And the question's going to be now, will they give the ball away again or will they slow the game down a little bit?
And there is the pressure again from the Firebirds, but a good turn and now going forward. And a beautiful through ball. Plays her teammate onside. Sent it to the box, and this will be cleared out. And it will be, at least to me, from this view, the second corner that the Firebirds have had.
Yeah, all it took right there was a little composure right here on the near side of the field, for the Firebirds to, get something going, be able to, build from the back a little bit, and they were able to create, a slight chance. It's going to take a lot more of that as they've created probably their first action on goal, for the night, but that's really their key to the game. They can't get rushed out of this game because the Rooks have definitely come out hot. And while it is a small chance, the Firebirds still have a chance in this game. They've just got to, slow down. It's still a long way to go. I think we have about 70 or so minutes, and just keep plugging away. They've let it get out away from them a little bit, but this is still a long night. 2-0 is the 2-0 is the worst lead to have in soccer. So they forced another corner. I think this is their second corner in, the past 3 minutes. We're still, under 20 minutes into this game. So if they can snatch a goal here, this game takes on a very different meaning.
This ball skims off, I believe, skims off of a member of the Firebirds. It will be a goal kick for the Rooks.
Yeah, I think this is what I was telling you about when we were talking about just the tempo of the game coming down a little bit. 20 minutes into the game, we're nearly halfway through the first half, right? And as things start to settle down a little bit, being down 2-0 is not really where you want to be. If the Firebirds could have made it through that period of the game, 1-0, maybe 0-0, this game would have a totally different complexion. But now, the Rooks are going to be cruising, and it's going to be up to the Firebirds over this next, 20, 25 minutes before halftime to really, take the initiative.
Very interesting to note development in the last 2 offensive possessions for the Firebirds. It looked like they're having quite a little bit of success those first 2 times when they gathered the 2 corners on their left flank and finding through balls behind this high pressing line of the Rooks. So maybe that's somewhere that they decide to look towards throughout the rest of the game. But interesting that we have not seen a whole lot from the right side on offense for the Firebirds coming down the right flank.
Yeah, number 8 on that far side is definitely their danger person right now. I don't know if they're going to change things around a little bit. It looks like they've definitely pushed another person into the midfield to try to shore things up right there. I'm not sure if they're man marking number 8 right now. We'll see the next time the Rooks are on offense. But, they've definitely made few changes, and that's what you want to see out of a team. And here we go with the Rooks in transition.
Looking to swing through the middle, find someone just off of the boot. Firebirds will clear. Now battle for possession within the midfield. Firebirds maintain possession. Foul called. Free kick goes the way of the Rooks.
Yeah, that's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. But ref makes a call. You just kind of move on from that.
Rooks playing the ball fast, looking to try to get another one on the board. Inside the box, great footwork there. Takes a shot on that, skies it. But again, another instance of the Rooks putting their foot on the Firebirds. Another attacking sequence that seems to always end either just outside of the box or inside of the box that we've seen pretty much since the first 5 minutes of this game.
Yeah, the Firebirds have moments during the game where they look okay, and they look like, they're starting to get a little bit of possession into the game, starting to get a little bit of foothold into the game. And then, they give the ball away somewhere. They turn over a cheap foul.
Oh, gorgeous back heel, just missing. Maintains possession, cleared away by the Firebirds, but that was almost another dangerous set there for the Firebirds, and a disastrous start to almost go 3-0.
Yeah, they're just a little inconsistent right now, the Firebirds. They've at least they've settled down heading into the 21st, 22nd minute of the game. But these are still very dangerous waters. One more goal and this game's definitely over.
Amanda Buechel was the one who had forced the corner, but this corner by the Rooks misses everyone and will go directly to a goal kick for the Firebirds.
This keeper just needs to get the ball out of there. You can see Edgewater, setting the press high. And there's another turnover.
Rooks trying to extend the lead. It is 2-0 early. Swings out to the right. Sent into the box. Tried to find Buechel. Headed out. And the Firebirds will give chase and maintain possession.
The Rooks are very clearly putting on a mid-press here. They're not chasing the ball overly. They're not overly chasing the ball right now. They're really just waiting, forcing the Firebirds to play into certain spaces and then pouncing on those spaces. It's going to be interesting to see how the Firebirds counter coming out of this. This keeper is going to have a decision to make. I'm not sure she's confident in clearing the ball herself from goal kicks. So, this is not going to be a winning strategy for the rest of the game. So they've clearly switched up on goal kicks because they just need to get the ball out to start it.
Rooks maintaining possession again. And here's Boost.
They're just getting pinned in. This is just not. This is just
outside of the box. Shot!
Oh!
Gorgeous shot! 3-0 for the Rooks.
I mean, what do you say about that shot? I mean, that shot was sweeter than something that came out of Willy Wonka's factory, man. You can't really do much with that. Once again, it comes from a Firebirds turnover. I think midfield possession was number one key to the game, and they are getting overran. The question's not how much now, but by how many, I believe, as we head into the midway point. I think we are at the midway point of the first half right now. Rooks 3, Firebirds 0. Okay, Connor, quick question for you. If you were a man of the wager,
Yes.
if I were to give you over under 5.5 right now, what would you take?
at the rate this is going and at the rate this offensive set seems to be going for the Rooks, I'll give you my answer shortly after. As here, I believe this is Christina Maria Sanchez, who had just scored the shot from outside of the box, and a gorgeous one past the keeper. I don't think it's out of the question. I don't think I would take at least five, but I do not think it's out of the question whatsoever.
Yeah, that's why I set the line at 5.5. Cause
You know what? I think I take the over.
You
I
take
think,
the over?
I think
Okay.
the way this is progressing so far, we are on pace for the over.
Oh, now they are just. Ooh. Now they're just running training ground drills right now. This is really good to see from the Rooks. They probably needed a performance like this, coming into the night in second place, definitely chasing, first place. I believe the top two from each division make it into the national setup. Don't quote me on that, but this is a very inspiring performance heading into the second half of the season right now.
Goal kick set up.
I believe that was a corner that was missed.
Was that
There's a little confusion right here on the refs, on the sideline between the refs. I'm not sure.
And it looked like one of the Rooks wanted to just slightly adjust where the corner flag was for a better positioning to take the kick to no avail. But meanwhile, back on the pitch, the Firebirds look to try to establish some form of possession, a tap and pass. Great cut back there.
See, this is what the Firebirds needed more of before this game got out of hand. This is what they should have been doing in minute 5. But it's good to see them, trying to put a little clamp on it now. The goal for the Firebirds right now is really just to get to halftime without any more damage. 3-0. I do believe in miracles, but that's highly unlikely.
Oh,
but,
gorgeous ball here by the Rooks.
If they put another one in, we can go ahead and just start playing highlights.
One thing that I did notice in the last time the Firebirds had the ball, when the right fullback had possession, look at the swarm of white jerseys just around, and really no I wouldn't say urgency, but there is a lot of just standing and watching, and not a whole lot of players moving around, and the ball seems to be getting stuck. Prior to that, even the ball just really living in the midfield and not being pushed out to any of the flanks. The Rooks look to just be absolutely overrunning and overwhelming this Firebirds team, and this looked to have been another case of that. Rooks with the throw-in again on the Firebirds' half of the field.
Well, where I'm from, we call that barbecue chicken, where you identify someone on the field that isn't as confident, doesn't feel as good in terms of possessing the ball, as there's a near goal, almost another goal. That's a really good sign from the Rooks that they feel like they have an advantage, as we have another wave of substitutions here from the Rooks. I believe, and a substitution from the Firebirds also. I believe, people from, a time older than mine would call that mouse in the house, where, you just find the weakness on the field and you continue to pick on it. So, this right fullback she's had a long day, and, we'll see how much longer it is, because it is definitely, only 29 minutes into this game, and the Rooks don't seem to be letting up at any point in time.
The Lady Rooks are going to look to try to make this a very successful day in the Edgewater camp. The men's team came back from down 2-0 at halftime earlier in Green Bay to secure the victory 3-2. I believe the women's team in essentially a split squad. Here's Buchel on the chase now inside the box. Does she maintain possession? She does. Rooks will still have it.
Oh, good job to keep that in. Good job to keep that in. Good work down there in that corner. Looks like the Rooks have earned another throw. Looks like the Rooks are also one-upping the men tonight. The men had to come back from 2-0. The women are up 3-0 before halftime. So, in the words of the great Nike commercial, anything you can do, I can do better.
Oh, that would have been a gorgeous setup, but they believe they're going to say that the Rooks stepped out of play, or the ball rolled out of play prior to. And so now it'll be a free kick, rather goal kick for the Firebirds, with the keeper not taking it, as you had mentioned earlier. The last several goal kicks that they've taken, having one of their outfield players make the kick.
Yeah, they just need to get the ball out of there. As you see, they were at least able to possess it a little bit, stem the flow just a little bit. At least the ball this time got past the halfway line. It's a really long game when every time you have a goal kick, the ball starts coming right back at you. I think if this game was played at a little slower pace, the Rooks wouldn't have made so many subs early. But they're just out here flying and overwhelming, this team. So everybody's getting a piece.
We've seen number 3 for the Rooks. Give me a second to get the name. Jackie Thomas looked like she's swapped over now on the right flank with number 5 for the Rooks. Number 5 for this, Cristina Murillo Sanchez, the one who had scored the 3rd goal in this matchup, started this game as a part of that holding 2, the back midfield 2 rather. Now she's being played out and deployed as more of a wide defender at this stage, as a few new Rooks players have entered the fray via substitution in a matchup like this, and when the game already seems to be fairly lopsided, not just from a score standpoint, but from just a visual standpoint even. How important is it to just really have the squad rotation as the Rooks look to try to tack on another one? Here's Buchel, lead pass forward, too heavy on the pass. It will go to the goalkeeper's feet.
Well, I think in a game like this, the number one key is to make sure that you keep your team engaged. It's really hard, especially being up, in a game like this early, for your team to disengage, start making sloppy passes like the one we just saw there. So, as a coach, just keeping the tactics going, keeping the tactics, changing, making sure, you're keeping your players locked in. It's really important because, 3-0 is a, pretty insurmountable lead. But, we've seen crazier things happen. So, this is a decent outfit, the Redbirds are. So, if they blink, they give up a goal, this game could take on, a different context. And the same way, diamonds are a girl's best friend, clean sheets are a keeper's best friend. So, it's just really important right now that if, Edgewater, if the Rooks can get to halftime right now with, this clean sheet intact, I think the coaching staff would be happy with all the changes that they've made throughout this half. I think the players would be happy, and, the fans would definitely be happy.
Sent it to the box. Keeper has to come out. Comes off of her line and falls on top of it, and that was a very dangerous attack there by the Firebirds. One of the first real significant attack, but to no avail. Great defensive sequence there by the Rooks.
Yeah, and you see how easy it is just for, something to change the game, If that ball manages to wiggle into the post, we're talking about 3-1 going into halftime, as they have another run on goal right now.
Keeper falls on top of it, saves it.
This is this is a couple warning signs for the Rooks right now. One of these goals go in, and the context of this game changes. Once again, 3-0 is a very commanding score line, but it is not by any means mean that this game is over if they take their foot off the gas.
You had mentioned complacency earlier as a key to the game, with the Rooks having maintaining possession, especially having this commanding lead. Firebirds attacking now down the left flank yet again. They have found success coming down this left flank, sends it into the box, ricochets off a defender, and it will be a throw-in for the Firebirds.
Yeah, at some point, like, you have to be able to, take control of the game as it's happening in the midst of the game, right? So, like, who on the field for, like, the Rooks are, who on the field for the Rooks is, like, going to slow things down a bit, like, get things a little compact, like, retake control of this game, because, like, the last 5 minutes have been the Firebirds, and, like, the Rooks, while they have not been extremely troubled, here's another example of the Firebirds getting a chance to attack again, and heading into the 35th minute of this half. You just want to make sure you finish the half strong, and that's the thing about complacency is, like, you give them a little foothold, and who knows what could happen. They've managed to, like, dodge a few bullets so far. Getting into the half with that clean sheet is, like, the biggest thing that they want to work on right now. But this is a good sign. Like, they've slowed the game down a bit. They've taken their natural, just like, talent advantage and kind of retaken control of the game as you get another turnover for the Ladybirds and, well, for the Redbirds, and you'll just see what comes from it.
Tried to lay it in for another goal. Rooks with trying to corral possession as now they'll drop back, reset.
Yeah, this is good. This is what you want to see.
Firebirds making the Rooks work this time. Shot on or an attempted shot goes over, but the Firebirds made the Rooks really work that time around.
Yeah, but you can see with the Rooks that they still have the advantage in this game if they just if they just slow the game down. And, like, when it seems like the Firebirds are getting a hold of the game, they just slow the game down and really just start recycling play to their strengths, which are the middle and their defense, as they continue to control the ball. This will be an easy night. The full expectation now, 37 minutes into the game, is to go into the halftime, with this clean sheet. That's paramount right now. This game's basically over if they can get to the halftime with this clean sheet.
From a Firebirds perspective, what do you think? What have you seen early, albeit not with a whole lot of success, as now the Firebirds are pushing again down that left flank, looking to try to control possession. Cuts inside to the midfield, whips it inside the box, falls to the keeper's hands. What, from the Firebirds' perspective, do you think they can build upon going into the second half on what has been, from a scoreline perspective and from an on-pitch perspective, a fairly lopsided matchup so far?
Well, as there's another attack right here, I think this foul is going towards the Rooks. I think from the Firebirds' perspective, it's going to sound counterintuitive with how much time's remaining in the game, but as the Firebirds actually get this, it's going to sound a little bit counterintuitive, but they need to be more patient. When they rush into play, they turn the ball over. They've turned the ball over a lot. A lot of the danger that the Rooks have caused have come off of Firebird turnovers. But if they can just figure out a way to be a little more patient, pass the ball a little smarter, really just take their time and try to orchestrate chances, I think they'll at least be able to be a little more dangerous in this game. I think the problem that they've had so far is that, especially early on in the game, they were rushing out of the gate a lot.
Oh, my goodness. If that were to fall in, that would have been a perfect microcosm of the night the Rooks have had.
Yes, it would have been no less than they deserved either. As much as, like, the Firebirds have given them opportunities, the Rooks have capitalized, and they've played their way into a lot of opportunities. If you look at the possession metrics and the passing metrics through this game, like, the Rooks have clearly dominated this game in both of those categories. And more often than not, if you dominate the game in terms of possession and passing, you're going to have a good night. It might not always work out, but, like we said, second key of the game is, putting the ball in the back of the net, and the Rooks are really just putting it all together right now.
Firebirds looking to try to attack down the right side flank after being overran through the midfield. Done a great job of getting back out to the outside, sent it forward towards the box. Rooks clear it out. Back to the possession of the Firebirds. And the pressure by the Rooks again on display here, as now it forces the Firebirds to retreat and reset.
Well, this is better from the Firebirds, They didn't necessarily get a shot on target from there. They didn't get a shot at all. But, this pressure that they were able to establish over the last minute or two at least pushed them into the Rooks' half. There hasn't been, that many times during the game that we can say so far that the Firebirds have been playing in the Rooks' half, in terms of, establishing that line of attack from their perspective. So, it was encouraging to see them, take at least a minute or two, get some passes together, sustain some pressure. And if they can do that, a couple of more times throughout the course of the game, they might be able to, at least salvage some credibility here.
Great.
But it's going to be difficult because, once again, being down 3-0, there's that fine balance between, trying to reestablish yourself in the game and needing to score a goal.
Throw in here for the Firebirds. We've passed the 40-minute mark in this first half. If you're just now joining us, the Rooks have a commanding 3-0 lead early. Two of those goals happening within the first 20 minutes of tonight's contest.
Well, it feels weird to say, Connor, but heading into halftime, everybody's ready for this first act to be over. This half was basically over. If you're playing the game in two halves, this half was basically over 20 minutes into it. So, the teams need to go in at halftime. I think the message for halftime for the Rooks will be, keep on keeping on. Keep doing what we've been doing. And I'll be really interested to see what the message is going to be coming out of the Firebird locker room. Without knowing too much about their squad, it's just going to be really interesting to see, what they decide to do second half, because, you could easily push forward for this and, lose 6-0, that 5-5, over under. Well, 5-5 over under. Or, you could come out and, try to lick your wounds. So heading into halftime, it's going to be really interesting to see what the message is going to be coming out of the Firebirds locker room. The absolute worst thing that can happen to them right now is if they give up another goal.
And great pressure there by the Rooks, and a late call. They're going to call that one out of play, and they're going to say it is the Firebirds' ball right in the midst of what looked like another searing Rooks attack.
I'm interested to see, I'd be interested to see on the replay which official made that call. Was it the line judge or the ref?
Rooks maintaining possession again, will drop back and now push forward. As the Rooks look to be taking their time a little bit, just more so establishing possession, dropping all the way back to the keeper now for a full reset.
So it sounds a little bit counterintuitive, but from the Rooks, this is what you like to see. They're up 3-0. This is called game management right now. If they can make it into halftime 3-0, job's done. Basically, you come out the next 45, manage the game, and everybody's high-fiving each other at the end of the game. So it might sound a little bit counterintuitive right now, but just controlling the game at this point, especially for the rest of this half, is really going to be what you want to see from the Rooks. We have about 2 minutes left for regular time, maybe another 2 minutes of extra time by my watch. Neither team wants to give up a goal right now. So, for the Rooks, clean sheet would be great. A goal would be even better, but not at the expense of, creating danger on, their end. So,
Doing a rocket launch right into the core, but she looks to be all right, playing on.
Yeah, 25. 25 has a head made of steel. Right there. She seemed to take that one like a champ. She's been a machine in the midfield all night. So
Oh, and what could have been disaster there. Firebirds, the keeper maintains possession, but that could have been a disastrous way to go into the half, surrendering a fourth goal.
we might look back on that and say that that saved the game for the Firebirds. Very unlikely, but it's things like that that you look back when you say, where did the comeback start? If you are looking for the best outlook for the Firebirds going into the second half, by no means do I think it's likely, but we've seen stranger things happen.
A free kick going directly the way to the Rooks, and a beautiful ball with the overlap. Takes a shot off on net, roller to the keeper, but again, the counter-attacking by the Rooks, created by the pressure that they have generated pretty much since the opening whistle of the contest.
Yeah, this has been a really strong half from the Rooks. This is a really strong way to finish the half also. Um, everybody's going to be pleased in the Edgewater camp. I think the question's going to be for the Firebirds, what do you do coming out of halftime? But, once again, I think, when it comes to the Rooks, it's going to be more the same after the half. And, maybe only a couple minutes left if they can make it in, maintaining this clean sheet. Everybody's going to be happy. I think the one thing the Rooks might be upset about is there aren't more balls on the field for more people to play.
And a possible attack here by the Firebirds. Cuts inside, makes another cut, swings to the outside, shot on net, easily corralled there by the Rooks. Quality attack though there by the Firebirds going into halftime.
Yeah, the Firebirds still have a bit of danger in them, and they still have a lot of fight left in them. So, it's really going to be up to the Rooks to make sure they don't get complacent and make sure they finish this half strong. The half is winding down, and all they really need to do right now is just kind of see the game out, make sure they hold the ball. Looks like they are in no rush, and everybody's going to be happy going into the half. But once again, complacency will bite you at this level. It might not look like it from the scoreline, but the Firebirds are a good team.
Whistle blown. That is the halftime whistle. Rooks with a commanding 3-0 lead going into the half. We'll be right back to bring you the second half right after this.
And we are back.
Rooks start the second half with a commanding 3-0 lead over the Firebirds coming out of Lombard. Connor Moore, Ken Kimber here to bring you this action. A gorgeous night here at the fire pitch. Not a cloud in the sky. Floodlights beaming. Turf looking great. And again, the Rooks commanding 3-0 lead going into this half, going into the second half. It'll be interesting to see how the Firebirds respond. And early on, it looks at least in the first couple of seconds, they look to have a little bit more fight.
Well, it looks like this is going to be a tense half for the Firebirds. It's looking like, the tension is there. The tension to me is thicker right now than molasses in January. So, this is going to be a nervy first 10 or 15 minutes. If the Rooks come out and score a goal right now, this game is as good as done. Pack it up, send on the subs. But if the Firebirds can manage to get any type of foothold in this game, we could be in for an interesting second half. As we have a foul right here on the Firebirds, I believe that is two fouls in the first 2 minutes right here, Connor.
I believe so, and I believe that is also the first card we have seen being pulled in this game. Yellow card being shown to number 18 on the foul on Christina Murillo Sanchez.
I'd be interested to see if this is going to be a concerted effort from the Firebirds the entire half to kind of rough this up a little bit. Make this a game where, if they're not going to win on the score sheet, they're going to win in the black eye department, as one of my old coaches used to say. If that is, what they feel like they need to do to kind of slow the Rooks down, that is a feather in the cap of the Rooks. Playing someone off the pitch to, the point where that's what they feel like that's all they can do to stop you is always a good sign.
Now the Rooks again on the attack. Looking to add one through inside the box, deflect it out, and possession will go the way of
Firebirds, I think.
Waiting for the official connotation. Yes, it will be Firebirds possession here. Now looks.
I think this is a full-on goal kick right now for the Firebirds. They seem to be reverting to their earlier tactics of playing it out from the back. I'm not sure this is going to work well.
The Rooks are putting on a full press the second the ball is out of the kicker's hand, or the kicker's feet rather. As now we're seeing that pressure again on display here. Wind is blowing now again from the north side. So coming from the top of your screen, if you are watching us on YouTube, it is coming from the top side of the screen, blowing down towards the right flank, or the right flank of what would be the Rooks. So interesting to see how the wind plays a factor here. But so far, the beautiful unlocking of the pressure there by the Rooks. Cuts inside, makes a look, takes a shot, and just deflected. And another gorgeous attack set up there by the Rooks, and the Firebirds look to reset.
That actually might be the most complete, passing sequence that the Rooks have put together this game. It's surprising to say that, when they're leading 3-0, but that ball went from keeper to forward, touching at least, and that should be a foul. We'll see if the ref pulls that back. Looks like she's not, but that went from keeper to forward in about 5 or 6 passes, which is very good to see from the Rooks coming out of half. It looks like they are, not letting up on the gas. They've come out of the half, into third gear. Let's see if they can put this sports car in motion.
Rooks again on the attack. Looks to find a through ball inside. Goes straight to the keeper, who tosses it right away down to their left flank. A little bit of a good 1-2 action there. Firebirds on the attack now, trying to keep possession on their half of the field. Cannot do so. Rooks take it back yet again with the defensive pressure.
The Firebirds might be sponsored by Polaroid because they have flashes of brilliance every now and then, but they just can't seem to put it all the way together. It's going to be really interesting to see coming into the second half, throughout the course of this half, how much of the game they're going to be able to take control of this half. If it's anything like the first half, we might, be talking about more of the same. I'm not sure. Not sure what to expect from this half. It looks like both teams are coming out at least willing to compete, but if the Rooks get a goal early on, it might be a little difficult for the Firebirds to come back.
Firebirds looking to keep this one on their half of the field. Doing a good job so far. Good turn there, no foul. Firebirds on the attack. Looking to try to find the middle of the pitch to no avail. Back to the Rooks' possession, excuse me. And now they have a ball down the right flank, just short on the pass there.
That was good.
Great touch there by the Rooks. Now they push forward. Great deflection there by the Firebirds, and what a gorgeous sequence that we saw from both teams there, right around the middle of the pitch.
Well, both teams are here to compete in the second half, and that's what we wanted to see from the Firebirds coming out after halftime. Whatever the coach said to them is clearly resonating, and the longer they hold on, the longer they actually have a chance. As counterintuitive as that might, sound. There's going to come a point in time where they're going to have to risk it all to try to get back in the game. But at this point, not giving up a goal and being able to push the point of attack from their perspective is really going to be what they want to do this first 5 to 10 minutes of this second half.
Rooks with the free kick. As one of the Rooks faithful asking Kylie to score yet another goal for the Rooks. It feels like everyone, in a weird way, has gotten a goal for the Rooks. However, only 3-0, but that just goes to show the attacking prowess of the Rooks. Firebirds doing a good job trying to get their possession, and an excellent decision there to swing it out to the wide woman. And now pushing forward are the Firebirds. That ball deflected out of play, but will still maintain on Lombard's possession.
Yeah, while the Firebirds build here, let's take a quick second to shout out our sponsors, Ayers Brewery, Sink, Temple, Echo, Wintrust Uptown, and I believe I'm missing one more, but this game is definitely being brought to you from the fire pitch here, the Private Bank fire pitch here in warm Chicago. It has been a good day out here, Connor.
It's been a phenomenal day. Weather-wise, a little bit hot in earlier in the day, but has cooled off beautifully, and we've seen some amazing soccer so far. As mentioned earlier, the men's team came back from 2-0 at halftime to win 3-2 in Green Bay, Wisconsin. I believe the women's team, and essentially what was could be billed as a split squad game or a split squad against another team, won earlier today. Not aware of the score for that one, but I did hear it was by a significant margin of victory. And so far, the Rooks tonight are looking to make it a clean sweep into Edgewater camp on this Saturday, June 15th.
Well, it's already panning out to be a good night in Chicago. Edgewater sweep is, good for everyone. That'll only be more happy people in Chicago. As we watch the as we watch the Firebirds try to build.
Ooh.
As we watch the Firebirds try to build, we have the ball played back in. Sorry, had to touch it back on screen there.
Oh, what could have been a gorgeous header into the box. And that time, I would wager and say that the wind actually may have played a factor there. It was a good cross sent it to the box. That might have suspended a little bit with the wind blowing coming from the top half of rather if you're watching from the top half of the screen and the ball being sent in from the Rooks' right flank. But again, the Rooks have been displaying an incredible amount of defensive and offensive pressure early on, to the point where you have to wonder how much longer will this game just stay at 3-0.
Well, for a second there, I thought you were talking about the wind affecting my touch, and I was like, no, I'm not that good. But, but yeah, you know, you don't really know how long this game is going to stay at 3-0. It could, it could be one mistake, or it could be one moment of brilliance. The Redbird, I keep saying the Redbirds, the Firebirds are a really good outfit. So, you have to always, be aware that there is danger.
And a shot there goes directly to the keeper's arms.
But if you had to, be a wagering person, one team is more likely to score based on the score line. So, we'll just see how the second half unfolds. Right now, it's really looking like 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. This definitely doesn't have the intensity of the first half from the Rooks, but also it was going to be hard always to keep up that pressure going throughout 90 minutes. So, they did the hard part first, and now, it's a question of, what is left to be gained.
Given the way that the game has progressed so far in this second half, do you think it's more of the Rooks' inability to finish early in the second half, or just a matter of the Firebirds doing a really good job protecting and making sure that they aren't surrendering any more goals from the defensive end?
I'd say both. I think that for as well as the Rooks played in the first half, there's definitely been a game plan to make sure that they don't give up anything early.
Rooks are looking to try to make it 4-0, just missing.
I think there's definitely been a game plan from the Rooks to make sure they don't give up anything early going into the second half. That is the danger mark. Going into the second half, if you are the Rooks being up 3-0, at a point, time is on your side. But, being almost 50 minutes into the game, I think that we would be looking at a very different situation right now if the Firebirds had scored very early on. So I would say for the Rooks, they just haven't really committed numbers forward the way they did at the beginning of the game. And also when it comes to the Firebirds, I think that they have come out with more intensity. They have a little bit of respect to protect right now, right? Like, you don't want to get your doors blown off.
This throw in by the Firebirds. No dice there. Firebirds on the attack. Now cuts inside. Finds a shot. Deflected. And it will look to be a corner. Firebirds corner. From the Firebirds right flank. A potential attack. I believe this has only been the third or fourth corner all game long for the Firebirds. They whip this one in. Headed and cleared away by the Rooks. A great clearance there. Could have been a potential danger zone. Firebirds are going to send it back forward. They're going to play one on and misses the shot there. Goes wide. It was just one-on-one with the keeper. Rooks may have potentially been fortunate there to come out of that one unscathed. score maintains 3-0.
That was the opportunity right there, but I'm not sure if she had her shooting boots on or if her boots were sponsored by Stormtroopers, because that was off target as a Stormtroopers blaster right there.
Throw in here. Looks to be to the Rooks, and it will be for the Rooks. Headed out of play, another throw in. Thrown again by the Rooks this time. Rooks on the attack now. And a back end lobbed into the box, and a great flurry there. Firebirds trying to get that one out. It will roll out of play. And
this is all good for the Rooks right now. This might not seem like the best outcome so far in terms of how this half is progressing, but winning the first half 3-0 and tying the second half 0-0 still means that the Rooks are able to walk away comfortably with this win. So it's really hard to think about in terms of watching a soccer game in its entirety when it comes to so many goals being scored in the first 30 minutes of the game, and then no goals being scored so far. But never forget that the Rooks are still winning this game right now, winning it quite comfortably.
That last corner was a booming one sent into the box, but a misguided header resulted in a goal kick for the Firebirds, but it does not look to matter so much right now. Rooks back on the attack. Rooks trying to come forward, slices that kick inside, goes out of play. It will be another goal kick for the Firebirds.
The Rooks would be happy to do this 100 more times throughout the course of the half. Anything away from their goal is manna from heaven at this point. Up 3-0. One of the things they probably talked about at halftime was preserving the clean sheet, making sure they play well, just keeping the Firebirds from really getting into a rhythm of trying to build a comeback, right? It's hard to stop the momentum of a comeback halfway through the comeback.
Right.
It's a lot easier to stop it at the source. So, this might not seem like, the most appealing way to, play the game right now. But in terms of game management, the Rooks are doing everything that they need to do right now.
Rooks with the goal kick. Not a tremendous amount of urgency, nor can one blame the Rooks right now from playing it out. Now the Rooks on the attack, slicing ball through, makes a touch. Defended well by the Firebirds, but still on the Rooks' side of the pitch.
Yeah, and quiet as it's kept, playing the game at this speed really plays into the Rooks' hands. They've proved that they are the team that can control possession. They are the team that can dominate points of attack when it comes to what each team wants to do. So, they could, squeeze a goal out of this. Just playing it at this pace. They are playing really good passes. Look at this. This is a 5 to 6 pass movement right now as they continue to move the ball comfortably. So don't.
Oh, could it? Still inside the box.
Yeah.
Still has to be cleared away, and does.
Don't turn your head, ladies and gentlemen, because the Rooks can still turn this on in 1 second. This isn't. This isn't a snooze fest. This is definitely, the Rooks pushing. They're just, managing the game as, good teams do. You're not second in the league, for nothing.
Sent inside the box. Too strong of a touch there. Firebirds looking to attack. Sends it forward. Heavy touch. Nobody home there, and it will roll harmlessly out of play.
It's like trick-or-treating with the lights off. Nobody's home.
Substitutions coming in for both sides, or rather just the Firebirds sides now.
Wonder how many birds they got in that nest over there.
Quite a few. Quite a few, and all have been getting a fairly decent run of play so far. Throw in by the Rooks goes directly to the head of a member of the Firebirds, and it will be another throw in. In a night that has been realistically all Edgewater in every facet of this game. Rooks on the attack. Great step there.
This team's from Lombard, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, like I hope they enjoy this more than you know, most other people that come in from the suburbs to come to Chicago. There's been a bit of contingency there about suburban teams versus Chicago teams. I think the Chicago contingent has put one up on their suburban counterparts tonight.
And now we're starting to see the Firebirds maybe put a little bit more pressure on in situations like that. Interesting to note that they haven't launched really any form of full press at all in this contest, even despite being down. Their line
turnover.
Their line still fairly decently set. Rooks now again on the attack. And now here we go. Rooks looks forward. Nothing doing that time.
So you remember earlier, interesting to note, you remember earlier when you were talking about the back four and then the holding two.
Correct.
This is what I was referring to earlier when I said that if the Firebirds don't attack with numbers, it's going to be very difficult for them to mount anything of actual prominence against that, because you've got 6 defenders essentially sitting there at the base of midfield, and the Rooks are more than happy to sit there with that lineup and spring attacks off of that. So this is just another example of how if the Firebirds don't take the initiative to really push forward, you're just going to see much of the same right here. I mean, if you look at the touch line, what we're looking at right now, if you look on the Rook side, it is 4-on-5 as more players kind of move forward right now. But that's not really what you like to see. And
Rooks with a good attack there, deflected off the wall of the building. They will rule this another corner for the Rooks.
Yeah. Almost 70 minutes into the game, now the Firebirds are not only playing against the Rooks, they're playing against time itself. Because now you have 20 minutes to score 3 goals. This is going to require that, if you are going to do that, you're going to have to push more people forward. You're going to have to be a little more cavalier in the way you attack this game, and that's only going to play into the Rook's hands.
This ball just missing the net there. And if it had a touch off of anybody, it may have been off of a member of the Rooks, as this will be ruled a goal kick for the Firebirds. And funny you mentioned that comeback ability. It goes back to, like you said, the numbers game and the lack thereof of pressure that we have seen from the Firebirds. Is that more of insistence tactically, or do they just see that it would be rather ineffective? Rooks playing a high pressure line already so far off at its goal kick, as we've seen multiple times in the second half. But it's curious to know, and I'm curious as to what you might think as to why we haven't seen an influx of numbers being sent forward from the Firebirds.
Well, to push numbers forward, you have to have control of the game. And there just hasn't been control of the game from the Firebirds. They just haven't controlled the game for any period of time, of note. And that makes it really hard to, collectively get numbers forward in a safe way. It's very easy to just tell players to run up the field, but, like, if you're talking about, like, moving players forward in a way where you're able to maintain some type of balance or some type of, like, stability on both sides when it comes to offense and defense, like, that comes down to, like, possessing the ball and being able to stamp your control on the game. Long story short, the Firebirds just haven't been able to do that. And, like, that is why you see
Oh, this could be gorgeous setup
the
by
game.
the Rooks.
That, that is the game, ladies and gentlemen.
Beautiful setup by the Rooks that time around. 4-0 Edgewater Castle on what has been on an offensive set that, as we mentioned earlier, pretty much a microcosm of everything that we have seen so far in the first 60 minutes or so of this contest.
Yeah, and this is to go back to what we were talking about before. Like, in total, like, the defense was sitting with 4, the midfield was holding with 2, and they were just waiting for, the Firebirds to come out. And, like, you get a turnover, push the ball forward. Next thing you know, ball's in the back of the net.
Rooks might be done yet. They're still pushing.
Well, if you had the over 5.5 goals when we gave it to you at 20 minutes, you are still alive.
Yeah, we're still on pace here. Throw in. Big throw in there inside the box. Pressure put on. Keeper comes out to corral the ball. And the touch is kept in play. As Firebirds looking to try to attack. This ball will roll out of play. No call yet from the referee. Call made now. It will be a throw in for the Firebirds.
This is a very dangerous position for the Rooks to be in terms of, like, second half only, when you really narrow it down to just, the next couple of minutes. Teams give away goals very after they score goals. So, like, to keep this clean sheet, which is probably the number one priority now that this game has been won, the Rooks are definitely going to have to, try to establish a little bit more possession and control of what's happening right now, because the Firebirds are going to push forward, to try to recoup a bit of their losses. Hopefully, maybe maybe the Firebirds just, like, fly south for the winner and call this game done. But, if they don't, the
Foul called there by the on the Rooks. Possession there by the won't be maintained by the Firebirds. But as you mentioned, yeah, we're reaching a point now where it could be either just pack it up and go home with their Firebirds, or try to get something out of this game. Get back home with something, and that could have been the something right there. Tipped out of play, and it will be a corner for the Firebirds.
Yeah, as, like, the famous Denzel Washington, said, like, I'm leaving here with something.
Exactly.
Leaving here with something. So, like, it's actually really admirable to see the Firebirds still pushing, like, in this direction. I think the big thing, once again, for the Rooks is going to be, if they want to keep this clean sheet, it's really going to come down to how bad they want it. Complacency is going to be a thing that really sets in, especially when you're up 4-0 with, like, close to 15 or so minutes left to play. This is going to be, like, a measure of fight and determination that we are just going to have to see that they have or they don't have. I think that they will keep the clean sheet.
Oh, tipped out. Commotion there that time. Still in play. Still in the box. And sent out of play by the Rooks, who just barely avoids surrendering a goal, as now the Firebirds look to attack quickly.
I'm going to stop talking about clean sheets because I feel like
we've had a few close calls here, so after to mention. Firebirds whipping it inside the box. Nobody home. This will be a goal kick for the Rooks, but a really great sequence there of an offensive flurry if you're the Firebirds. Something to really hang your hat on so far, as we've seen that few and far between in this game, but when we have seen it, it's been fairly effective.
Yeah, they're a good team. I mean, the Rooks are obviously a better team, but if the Rooks aren't careful, they'll give up this clean sheet, and that's just the tail of the tape for the next 15 or 20 minutes of this game, however much long is remaining. How will the Rooks handle fighting against a team that is at least trying to score one goal? A clean sheet right now looks a lot better than a 4-1 scoreline.
That ball sent in and goes right to the keeper. Wind played a little bit of an effect on that one as well, but to no avail.
Shout out to our score guy who was a little late to change the score.
I wonder.
I wonder.
Firebirds with a gorgeous attack here. Clean break now. Shot on goal. Coming. Tapped. No dice there.
I'm not sure if she was playing soccer or bowling right there. She just rolled that right down the middle to the keeper.
Yeah, interesting choice of delivery there. However, to the benefit of the Rooks.
Well, once again, it goes to show, if you're not careful right now, you could give up a goal. And while that might not be the difference between winning or losing right now, clean sheets go a long way to morale. It's a lot different of a conversation when you get into the locker room when you're talking about winning a game 4-0 than versus winning a game 4-1. Especially if you give up something cheap and lazy towards the end of the game. So when we talk about complacency, that was the third key that we talked about. The Rooks have obviously won the first two, when it comes to controlling the midfield and scoring goals. That third key, complacency. This will be a full on perfect night for the Rooks if they can manage to keep a clean sheet also.
Corner sent in but deflected out, and we're going to run that back one more time again. Another corner for the Rooks. On the complacency note, so far, where would you grade the Rooks' ability to avoid that complacency, given that we have seen a few laps, but not anything that has led to anything disastrous? This ball just hovering in the air, still in the box, still fighting for it, and the keeper crawls on top of it.
You judge the game by damage, so if they haven't given up a goal, you can't. You have to give them an A. Coming in, winning the first half and winning the second half, keeping clean sheets in both. That is good football. It doesn't matter if you win the half by 1 or if you win the half by 5. If the other team doesn't score, then if you score, then that's the ball game. So you have to give them an A, all around tonight, both halves, both just in total, but the half isn't over. So let's see how it pans out. And early grades very early on. I think everybody on the field or everyone who's played tonight, at least gets 7s or 7.5s for performance. That is dreadful from the keeper.
Firebirds kick deflected. They are going to call. Will it be a corner?
That is a corner.
And yes, it will. The call finally being made. But yeah, not a great pass out of the box by the Rooks' keeper.
I mean, if Shaquille O'Neal was here, that would definitely make top 10 Shaqtin' a fool. But once again, if they get away from this situation unscathed, then you still have to give them an A. So.
This ball kicked out, and a great save there, point blank. But the keeper protects. It will go, and it will be the Rooks' possession.
Well, once again, these little things can happen. You can be up, you can be up winning a game comfortably, and a team puts a goal in, and it might not change the outcome of the game in terms of wins and losses, but it definitely changes the way you feel, walking into the locker room. So, this is something that, Edgewater is definitely going to want to, focus on when it comes to seeing this game out. I mean, 12 minutes left, giving up a goal right now. It's not going to change the outcome of the game, but, once again, you're going to see a head or two drop. It's just not going to feel as perfect as this night could be, and they all know it. They want this clean sheet, so, I want to see it happen for them. They've earned this performance tonight.
Misguided header going to try to go forward to no avail yet again. It will be a goal kick for the Firebirds as we are approaching the 80th minute of the contest. Ball swung out. Play is switched. Firebirds now looking to try to put some form of pressure to get something of a benefit in this contest. Rooks now, once again, seeming to be a familiar story, the ball living on their half of the field.
Oh, she's on side if she can chase that down.
Will she? She cannot.
I think we have 4 subs coming for the Rooks right now. 1, 2, just 2. Okay.
Looks to be just the 2. There's the 1. Yep, just the 2 substitutions coming in for the Rooks as they look to see this one out. And right to the Rooks there on that errant goal kick, looking to try to make it 5, and they get the ball stripped away. High line of pressure again by the Rooks. Here they come. Turnover. Shots.
Boom.
Bottom of the corner, a gorgeous look. 5-0 is the score by the Rooks. And the onslaught continues.
Our score man was on top of that one.
You've got your wish right after lamenting the lack of a shot. The Rooks get it right back, and they do not look back. Take the shot, and then right as you asked, 5-0 Rooks, and they're looking to make it a 6.
Well, the Rooks have scored. The Rooks have scored 2 from the top of the box before that, I believe. This keeper, if you can place it in either corner, she's not going to be one to make the acrobatic save. So, if you see that and you can take advantage of it, have a shot. Why not?
Offside. That looked to be been a gorgeous developing play there. Rooks with a lot of the 1-2s there on the top half of the pitch.
Well, it seems like they've kind of late in the game, they've kind of figured out where to dial up the number from. I think in the first half, the third goal in the first half really showed the Rooks coming in, where their point of attack should be from. Some of the shorter shots that they've taken, the keeper's been able to either smother or get a hand on. And, that shot, the keeper didn't have a chance. You could have put a postage stamp and mailed that in. The keeper wasn't going to get to it.
2 new substitutions coming in for the Rooks now.
I think those were the 2 that I saw for the total of 4. But, the coach has a plan. This is very good. This is very good for the Rooks, keeping them engaged. I really think they are very likely to keep this clean sheet. This is very good going into the second half of the season. This is the performance you want to see. This is definitely the performance you want to see headed in to, the part of the season that matters. They call this the testy end of the season.
We've seen a lot of sloppy passes so far by the Firebirds that have happened in the last 5 or 10 minutes, especially in the second half.
Well, there's also we don't talk about it much because we always talk about the Firebirds in terms of attacking to catch up. But there's also a level of complacency that comes in, when it comes to the Firebirds side, being down 4 or 5 nothing. Like what happens when you've just resolved yourself to defeat? Like if the other team, if the Rooks are still pushing, this could get ugly. There's still there's still quite a chance. There's still about 10 minutes left in this game. The Rooks could go over 5.5 right now. A 6-0 score line. I'm sure the Rooks are looking at that. Let's run this up as much as we can. You can hear the sideline from here.
Oh, sent into the box, just left. Keeper comes out and grabs that one.
They want the goals. The Rooks want the goals. So, when it comes to complacency on both sides of the ball, if the the Firebirds just, tuck this in, then, the next thing you know, it could be another goal or two for, the Rooks.
Ball falls harmlessly to the keeper's hands. Rooks look to reset. Ball sent to the middle of the pitch. Firebirds possession. And now quickly the Rooks possession. Sent forward.
This is
back.
good play.
Excellent passing there by the Rooks. And now it's stolen. A great defensive sequence there by the Firebirds, who look to try to get something happening here. They have the numbers advantage. Rather had the numbers advantage. And a turnover there.
That was a good way to pick the pocket of that Firebirds attacker right there. That's really what set that up to have that sequence of events happen.
Firebirds pushing. Now an attack down the right flank. Nobody in the box, however. Someone at the top of the box. This one floated above the net and over to the other field right next to us.
I think you could run up under that and catch it if you wanted to. It's still waiting to come down.
And they're still trying to calling for someone to get the ball, and nobody on the other. As another ball coming in.
Yeah, that's onto the practice fields, man.
And it looks like finally somebody heeded the call to get this one out.
They didn't know. They're practicing. Benefit of the doubt.
And there we go. Ball is safely on our half of the fire pitch now. As now the Firebirds look to try to get something going here, and that ball rolls too far out front.
Well, as this game winds down, Connor, what impressed you most about Edgewater tonight?
Right away, I would say the pressure. I would say the pressure that they had right from the opening whistle. There's a plan, there's a game plan set in stone, and they have yet to veer from it, even being up 5-0. But I would say right away the offensive pressure, the defensive pressure, really taking control of the game and suffocating the Firebirds right from the start. It's been one of the most impressive things. That could have been a gorgeous touch there had it fallen back into possession of the Rooks. But this is a game that this is how you want to dominate a game. If you're going to win a matchup like this, you want to have domination in every facet of the game. And apart from a few slight lapses and a couple really great attacks by the Firebirds and even a point-blank save at one point, this has been all you can pretty much ask for. This is maybe not the perfect game, but it has to be quite close to it. As this ball, she's on side. She has a run. She has a net.
Is this six?
There's a shot on goal.
This
Taps
is
it over to her teammate. 6-0 Rooks.
Come down to the fire pitch and claim your over, ladies and gentlemen.
And a gorgeous setup there. A beautiful setup there. 6-0 Rooks. This is unbelievable. A perfect day, and what could be capping a perfect night if you are in the Edgewater camp with victories all around.
6-pack for the Rooks.
Rooks again with possession. And now you have to ask the question, is 7 in the cards? Firebirds with the ball now, off of a bad pass, sent forward. Will she be able to track this one down? She will not. It will be a goal kick for the Rooks, with 7 very much still in play, considering the pressure that the Rooks have put on.
Clean sheet, ladies and gentlemen. Clean sheet. Clean sheet. This is the most important thing right now in terms of, like, any extras you're going to get out of this camp. Winning 6-0, it's all well and good. But, clean sheet is what we need right now.
Shot on goal there. Easy to corral.
So we're nearing the end of the game, maybe 2-3 minutes of extra time right now. Do you think that they'll be able to keep this clean sheet, maybe score one more?
This ball goes straight to the keeper. Nothing happening that time.
Once again, we'd like to give a shout out to our sponsors, Eris Brewery. We'd like to give a shout out to our sponsor, Sync, Temple. We'd like to give shout out to our sponsor, Wintrust Uptown, PXM. We are here live from the Fire Pitch here in Chicago. Thank you all for watching as the Rooks start another attack. We are waiting for the ref signal on how much time is going to be left. This has been a comprehensive performance by the Rooks. Connor, in the dying few moments of this game, do you think that the Rooks will be able to keep a clean sheet going into these dying minutes of the game?
At the rate it's going, it's hard to feel like they're not, and I don't want to say that at risk of a potential jinx, but at the rate that everything has been progressing so far, it really just looks like the Rooks. It would be of their benefit to see this game out the way they started it. There really is no sense to end it, and that will be how it ends. Question answered. Clean sheet obtained by the Rooks. 6-0 dominant victory obtained by the Rooks, and a perfect day for victories all around in the Edgewater Castle FC camp from both squads, the men's and the women's sides. Kind of perfect day to write home about if you're anyone in this organization, and it was capped off in dominant fashion.
So nice you would want to write home twice.
It is one heck of a victory here. Their fans, their friends and faithful celebrating, and that will do it for us. For Ken Kimber, I am Connor Moore. Once again, the Rooks dominant victory here at the Fire Pitch, 6-0 over the Firebirds. We say so long, take care, and have a great and safe weekend, and happy Father's Day.
Can't wait to watch this on the highlights DVD.